overall, I don't think men in the past overall were out of line. And I don't think women had complaints about men dominating the workforce when all the work was so physically hard and only men could really do it at a high level. And I think that's one of the biggest games the feminist movement has convinced men that we must apologize for the past. And I don't think men did anything wrong then. No different than the wrongs that we do right now, But am I right about that? Let's quit apologizing for the past.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple of things that put the lie to that. There's a couple of things that expose the fraud. For example, women are underrepresented in being trash collectors. They're not complaining about that. Women are underrepresented in deep sea fishing, which is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. We don't see women complaining about that. Women are underrepresented in being linemen who are climbing up, power electricity poles to fix power lines. We don't see people complaining about that. So when you look at these jobs that are still very masculine jobs, and you don't see people complaining about it, then you know that the complaint is not an honest one. Because if the complaint is an honest one, then you look at everywhere where there's a disparity between male and female presence and you say something about it. But we don't do that. That in and of itself tells you that the complaint is not an honest one. Again, and as you said, does that mean that men haven't been derelict in their responsibilities from time to time? Does that mean that women haven't suffered certain things? Nobody's arguing that. Nobody would ever argue that. But what I would also point out is that in the Western world, in Western civilization, in those civilizations that have been built as a result of the Reformation, for example, women are the freest, safest, and most prosperous in the world. Period. Full stop. Bar none. There's nowhere else that they would rather be. Same thing you and I have talked about. When talking about black folks. Black folks will complain about America. Women will complain about America, but they're not getting on planes, trains, automobiles, and boats to go anywhere else because there's no better place to go.
I want to stick with my comparison to the past, and this is a bit more difficult, and I don't even know if I have the right answer, but I do make this argument that I hope one day I make it to heaven and I'm able to ask God, and maybe there is no degree, maybe neither is worse than the other, but from my perspective, abortion is worse than slavery. And I say that because we have this mentality
that's an easy one.
The founding fathers were the worst people in the world, and oh my God, they had slavery. And I'm like, well, hold on, man. We got abortion basically on demand. And we got people out in the streets having convulsions. I can't kill my baby whenever I want to. And I'm like, man, I can't wait for God to make a ruling on this. They're like, no, I think this abortion thing's worse than slavery. Am I wrong for thinking that?
My ancestors were slaves, but I'm here. If my mother had an abortion, I wouldn't be. So yeah, you get no argument from me on that one.